Welcome again, everybody, to Papa Bojo's Kitchen. This is part 3 on how to make pierogi. Now we're going to make the pierogi dough, and it's pretty simple. I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour in here, and I've mixed in 1 teaspoon of salt. I've got 1 egg, and I've taken and I've scrambled that up a little bit, and I've got 1 1/4 cups of warm water. The warm water makes the dough come out a little easier and a little more soft and supple. So let's get to making the dough. The first thing we do is we put the mixer on a medium speed. We're going to add in 1/4 cup of the water. And then we're going to add in the other full cup of water. And you'll see this is going to be a wet dough. You're going to need to push this down the side some. And once it gets to this point, you're going to add your egg in. And you're going to turn the speed up a little bit. And you're going to let this do the kneading for you. You can obviously make this by hand as well. And make yourself a well and use the water and the egg until it's kneaded. Once this forms a dough ball, it'll be ready to be taken out, and we'll be ready to let it rest for about a half hour. And that should be good. This should be what it looks like. It's a wet dough, and we're going to use a lot of extra flour when we take and put this out on the board. So I've sprinkled quite a bit of flour on top of my countertop, and now I'm going to take the dough ball. It might be easier for you to take it, like me, with hand, and just put it in the flour. And if you're smart, like I wasn't, you would flour your hands before you take the dough out. So we're going to take this, we're going to fill it, and it's nice and soft right now. It's a nice soft dough, and I've already got some plastic wrap here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to form this into a log. We're going to put this in the wrapper. And we're going to wrap this, and we're going to let it set for about 30 minutes. Now we've got to take the dough, we've got to roll it out, and we've got to cut the shapes. And I've got a cutter here. It's about a 3-inch cutter. You can use whatever you have available. The first thing you want to do before touching your dough, because it is a wet dough, you want to take and put some flour on your hands, and you want to get that dough right away into the flour on both sides. Again, this is a wet, sticky dough. You also want to make sure that you've got some flour on your rolling pin. And right away, you start rolling. You're going to roll this out until it's very thin. I would say about a 1/16 of an inch thin. And you're going to keep on flipping it, because as you flip it, you're going to want to drag it in some flour. You're going to see if the dough still isn't quite rested enough, you'll see it pull back together. So you're going to keep rolling it out. And I'm going to keep doing that right now. So now that we have our dough rolled out, now we're going to use our cutter, or whatever we're going to use, whether you're using a jar or a glass, whatever, and you're going to start cutting these and setting them aside. Taking this, and we'll put this with the rest of our dough. Now I've rolled these out, and I cut them into circles, as you can see. What I want to do is I'm going to take a little bit of water. I'm going to go around the edges just a little bit. Let's do a meat one. I'm going to take some of this meat, not that much. I'm going to lay it right in the center. Now I'm going to lift one side and the other side, and I'm going to bring them together. And then I'm going to pinch going down the side, one side. I'm going to pinch going down the other side. once I have these all pinched, I'm going to pinch them nice and tight. And then I'm going to take my 2 fingers like this, and I'm going to take and I'm going to pinch each one to give it sort of like a double seal, and it gives a little bit of a design as well. Do that all the way around, and there you got a nice sealed meat pierogi. I'll do the same with the cheese one. First I'll put a little water around the edges, and the reason for the water is if you've got a little flour on the edges and you bring them together, they might not stick too easy. They might fall apart from each other. So that just ensures that it will seal real good. The potato ones, I put a nice little pile of potato here. Potato's a lot firmer, so you can put a little more than with the meat. The meat is a little moister. And what I'm doing again is I'm bringing the 2 edges together, and then I'm stretching and I'm pinching as I go down, and I'll stretch and pinch as I go down the other edge. Take this, I'll flatten it out a little bit, make sure that I've got it sealed, pinching around, and then I take and I do this little fold and pinch method right here. And there, now you have a cheese pierogi. I'm going to do the same thing with all the rest of them, and we'll come back when they're ready to drop into the water. So now we're ready to drop these into the boiling water. As you see, the boiling water isn't really that aggressive. But what I'm going to do is I'm using 2 pots here so I don't overcrowd the pots. Now once I drop them, I'm going to take the water, I'm going to stir the water, trying not to touch the pierogi, just to get them moving so they don't stick on the bottom. Once they're moving, then they're good to go. And what you'll do is once they raise to the top, you'll let them float at the top in the boiling water for 2 to 3 minutes. So you see they're floating at the top, so I've set the timer for 2 minutes, and they'll continue boiling for the next 2 minutes before we take them out. So it's been 2 minutes, so we're ready to take these out and put them on a plate, and you can either serve them just like this, or you can let them cool, and you can fry them in some butter with some onions, which is even better. Either way, they're great, but this is the traditional Polish way to boil them and eat them right away after they've been boiled. So there you have it, some perfect homemade cheese and meat pierogi. I'll guarantee you, if you make these homemade, you'll never buy frozen, you'll never buy them in the market again. The dough is just so much better. Your filling is your filling the way you want it, the way you want it to taste. This is real pierogi. Hopefully you can see a nice, good look at it. And again, you can take these, you can take and fry some onions and butter, and then put these in until these get nice and golden and crispy, and eat that with some sour cream. Oh my God, it's just so good. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed these 3 past episodes of Papa Bojo's Kitchen, showing you how to make real homemade pierogi. Buon appetito, everybody. Have a great day.